recent updates in regards to what has been going on in Sony for the better part of their entire ownership of the Spider-Man IP has given us a lot of insight into what could have been. And one of the latest pieces of news is the fact that early on in the development of Spider-Man 4, Angelina Jolie was set to play a major character in the sequel. And using the process of elimination, I think we all know who she would have played. So this piece of info comes at us from the book With Great Power, which we've talked about before, which obviously has been going into Sony's development and multiple stages of development of all the Spider-Man films. One thing they focus on is, of course, the canceled Spider-Man 4, and when they touch upon the whole development of the film, talking about the Vulture, who we know would have been the villain, they obviously talk about the character of the Huntress, aka some sort of, at least we think, would have been a version or an amalgam version, or things even got possibly mixed up, of using the Vulture's daughter, but also having Black Cat involved. And again, there's still a ton of details we don't know. There's been conflicting stories. What we do know is that eventually Anne Hathaway would have been cast as this character, and reportedly, by all accounts, it was gonna be a different version of Black Cat. This book reveals that before that happened, Angelina Jolie was in talks and was at like the top of the list, and they wanted her to play this character. Now, obviously, Angelina Jolie in the mid 2000s, right there, she was like still at the peak of her career. Everybody loved her. She was everywhere, still doing films, still one of the biggest, most paid actresses at the time. And certainly, they were willing to spend big money. So you can see how having Angelina Jolie as Felicia Hardy, or whatever they were going for, would have made a lot of sense. And it's also interesting to note that in the lead up to the Eternals, there were interviews with Angelina Jolie where she did specify that she's met with Marvel, not just Marvel Studios, for previous comic book roles that she didn't end up taking or went in a different direction, and some of these projects ended up falling through. Obviously, I think right now, with the benefit of hindsight, we know that she was talking about this being one of them. And certainly, I think having her in Spider-Man 4, had that film came out, I think that would have been huge. Because again, she was one of those actresses that drew a crowd. At the time, actors did have a lot more impact on the roles they were in, and I think this would have honestly been like incredible. Then again, I'm a fan of hers, a pretty big fan of hers, so maybe I'm kind of biased, but I think she would have done a crazy good job as Felicia Hardy. And certainly, if you take off 15 years now, you can see she almost has that perfect Felicia Hardy look there.